Hello, my friends, and welcome. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you today from the truck. And this is just going to be a general topics video. There were some things that I've been thinking about for a while. Also, my brother had sent me a message today asking whether I was going to speak the death of Chuck Norris. Now, as many of you know, that's part of what I do here on my channel, is what they call speaking the death of someone, which is to talk about them and tell the truth as I see it about those individuals. I usually do it for either personal people in my life, or if someone asks me to speak the death of someone. It's basically like giving a truthful version of a eulogy, which is, it's not all flattering all the time. It's all the person's warts and problems and things that they may have done wrong in their lives. Not like I'm some great person with no flaws. When I actually pass away, it is my hope that that's what will be said of me. I don't want somebody to get up and give a glowing review of my life. I want them to give a realistic view of my life. My flaws, my faults, where I succeeded and where I failed. Because I think that would be a much greater service to humanity and people in general if that's what happened, instead of a bunch of flowery bullshit being said of you when you were a horrible individual. So to speak the death of Chuck Norris, I would have a hard time with that. That's why I told him no originally. Other than I didn't want to let his passing happen without any kind of comment. I have never been a huge fan of Chuck Norris. I think he does all right in the stuff that I've seen him in. Probably my favorite movie that I ever saw him in was one called Firewalker from back in the early 80s, maybe late 70s. And it's not probably one of his better known films, but I loved him in it. I think it was him and Louis Gossett Jr., I think, or someone who looks almost identical to Louis Gossett Jr. And it was just a good movie. It was just a fun, good old movie. It kind of an Indiana Jones type story, but from a different perspective. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I watched that movie over and over when I was a kid. Every chance I got. I remember seeing him on Walker, Texas Ranger. But what I think is more important is what he did when he wasn't being an actor. He was a great philanthropist and spent a great amount of time advocating for healthy living, and working with children's groups to try and help disadvantaged kids, and stuff like that. He was just a good person who had been married to the same woman, I think, his entire life. May have that wrong, but I think so. I think he was married to his original wife and had never been with anybody else. Unless she had passed away, unless the original, like I said, I don't know as much about him as I probably should because I'm not the biggest fan. But I think it should be noted that, of his passing, and that a great icon, a great martial artist, a good actor, a good man, a good father, a good husband, has been lost. Because it is really sad when we lose the kind of role models and idols like a Chuck Norris, because quite often they're replaced by much lesser men, who have not done nearly as well. My thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. Now, something else I wanted to talk to you guys about today was Project Hail Mary and movies in general. So it has been a long time since I have felt truly excited about a Hollywood film. I think the last time I really felt that was Endgame and Infinity War, where I was actually really excited to see a film. And then, what we got with Endgame was just a massive disappointment to me. Infinity War, I think, is one of the best films in the last little while. I mean, it's no Lord of the Rings, but I mean, it was a great film, a great build-up, great story, great character in action, lots of different actors interacted. It was really good. and I thought it was a great movie. I just felt like Endgame really let it down, and it's been that way pretty much since then. I have not felt, I felt glimmers of hope, and only to have them dashed. It was such films like Tron Legacy, where once I found out what it really was, my excitement evaporated. I was super excited when I heard there was another Tron film coming, and me and my brothers got really excited, and then when we realized what it was, we just lost all of that interest. Same with so many films where there was the potential for something great, and then it just turned into a crap show. Like the MCU. Since Endgame, there's really been nothing worthwhile coming out of it, with the occasional Spider-Man movie doing okay, but that's more of Sony than it is of the MCU. I've had a few tempests in the teapot when it comes to that, but those have all been anime films. And even some of those were slightly disappointing. So the Kaiju number 8 film was just a rehash of the first season, with all the humor and the funniness taken out, which I thought was really sad, because the humor and stuff was what really helped make Kaiju number 8 just a great anime. But then we got Infinity Castle, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which was just fantastically good. Just so good. There was a couple of things I wish they'd have done just a smidge different, but overall, I can't really complain about that film. It was just good. If you haven't seen it, it's supposed to be coming back to the theaters. I highly recommend that. And go watch the anime series. Get on Crunchyroll or wherever and go watch that series. It is very good. Most animes, I watch mostly animes and reruns of old TV shows now, because most of everything that's being created right now, like Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy, and basically everything is just garbage of one sort or another. And so I have to mention that there have been a couple of shows come out. I just watched one this week called Chernobyl. It's a mini-series on HBO Max. Freaking awesome. Fantastic show about what happened at Chernobyl. If you have not or have never really learned about that, it is great. And it is acted by a stellar cast. Ian Skarsgård and Harris. Richard Harris's son, I can't think of it. Jared Harris. Just great performances in that. And just a great story. Of what happened, and a real great visual of what happens in communism and what was important to the communists, and why that accident was so catastrophic was because of socialism and the foolishness of communism, and the way it prioritizes equality over merit, and why that disaster was so much worse than it needed to be. Just a great miniseries. I totally recommend that to you. But I'm looking forward to Project Hail Mary. It's the first film I've felt really excited about in quite some time. I'm looking forward to that, and I can't wait to go. I've been on the road this week, so I probably won't get to see it till next week, and then I plan to come on and do a review. I'm going to have my brothers and maybe their spouses go with me, if we can work it out, and we're going to go see that together, and maybe I can get them to come and help me do a review, depending on what we see. If it comes out negative and crappy, I don't know that I'll focus really much on it, because I really am trying to focus on more positive things in my videos, so there's that. Also in movie news, we've seen trailers now for Dune 3, the new Spider-Man movie, which I think it could be okay. The last Spider-Man movies have been okay, and so I think maybe this one will probably be okay, I hope. But Dune 3, I'm not interested in at all. Which is sad, because it's got a fantastic cast, great visual aesthetics, great special effects. I mean, it really is great in so many ways. But it's let down by the director and his messaging that he's tried to put into it. He's focused far too much on the Bene Gesserit and far too much on the women, trying to shove them into the story where Frank Herbert did not do that. And then in trying to make them more important, it's looked desperate instead of natural. because he completely misunderstands the Fremen culture and the culture of most of the houses of the Lannistrad. So I'm not interested in that one because I know what they're going to do. They're going to try and shove Chani and all of the women in there in a way that it was never done in the books, because he did that massively in the second film. The first film was pretty good. The second film departs quite a bit from the feeling of the book, in massive ways, and it really lets the source material down, as where the first one didn't seem to do that as much, other than race and gender swapping Dr. Liet Kynes, which is a man. He's a white man, and they race swapped him with a black woman, which is not what it is in the book. So I just feel like Villeneuve, whatever his freaking name is just going to let us down with another installment, because I think he's going to try and shove 2 full-length books into one film, and he's going to do a piss poor job of both. I think he's trying to slam Messiah and Children of Dune into the same movie, and there's just too much material. He's going to end up cutting out a huge amount of the stories from those, and you can't do that without sacrificing too much. That's kind of what happened with the first Dune movie in '84. Great film that was let down by studio interference and not being long enough to actually make. If they'd have done 2 of those David Lynch films and let him actually do what he wanted, we would have got the best Dune ever. Maybe not completely. I don't mind when Hollywood changes things from a book series a little bit. A different interpretation, a slight change here and there to kind of make it more visual or whatever. I'm okay with that. Just like I am in the '84 version, they did the Weirding way in a completely different way than it's kind of brought out in the book. But it was very visually cool and interesting, and it didn't let the source material down, and it wasn't focused on. Like, that wasn't the biggest part of the thing, in which that's what usually causes a movie to go awry, is when they take major story elements and mess them up. That's what lets down source material, really. So I still love the '84 version despite the changes that were made in it, because I'm not one of those people who it has to be perfectly like the book. I want it to be as close to the book as possible, but if you have to make a change here and there, I'm okay with that, as long as it's a good change. Anyway, so they were doing 3. And then I'd just like to talk a minute about anime. Like I said, if you're looking for really good entertainment, if you're looking for different stories told from a different perspective, get out there and go watch some anime. Anime is really great right now. You're getting some great stories, great animation. Just to give you, if you need a taste tester, like, oh, Brian, what should I go watch? Well, if you love romance, I would suggest one called A Sign of Affection, which is about a deaf woman who falls in love in Japan. And it's fantastic. If you're looking for a great love story, that one is awesome. Really, really good. I was really surprised at how much I liked that one. I that's my sensitive side. I like a good love story that's funny and interesting and stuff. I don't like feminist love stories like what my wife seems to love, and I don't think she realizes that they're feminist, but they totally are, where the man has to be perfect, does everything right, the woman's a total bitch, and he ends up winning her over in the end. That's just a feminist dream, in my opinion. Oh, gross. And but if you're looking for something exciting to watch, Demon Slayer, great one. If you're looking for more excitement, Solo Leveling is, gosh dang, it's fantastic. It is the story, the vocal acting, it is just phenomenal. Really good, really good. It's one you'll watch over and over again. My brother, he was telling me the other day, my second to the youngest brother, was like, dude, I've watched that like over and over again. And I'm like, I know, it is so good. It's one you watch over and over again, and you catch little things, and it gets better every time. If you're looking for just kind of a slice of life type anime, Fruit Baskets is a great one. Trying to think of But one that's kind of a slice of life plus action is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Great anime. If you're looking for something that's really funny and takes a very different twist on maybe a storytelling, you would want to try something like Assassination Classroom. Really great anime. Those are just some of my, if you're looking to get started in anime, if you guys are ever looking for maybe anime suggestions, let me know. I watch loads of them, and I can always kind of suggest something from different genres that I've liked that might help you get into something and understand, because sometimes anime is a little rough to get into because the Japanese do things a little bit different sometimes, and you have to get used to the manner in which they do it, and I can help point you in the right directions for some of those. This video is getting a little bit long, so anyway, just thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting my channel, and love you guys and appreciate everything you do by being here and supporting me. Until next time, we will talk to you again. Bye now.